Hey, we're doing this another what if thing, aren't we?
And this one's a doozy.
It is a doozy because it is basically. I don't think I've come up with like a name. What if,
What if,
Dragon Ball was more consistent? I guess I don't
what if,
know.
the fans wrote Dragon Ball? Because we've got several different characters that we've brainstormed that kind of, you know, you cover the reliable human, you cover the surviving woman Saiyan, you also cover,
Your character.
you have a wise character, a warrior character, and a balanced character.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I guess what if loyal fans wrote Dragon Ball?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'll come up with a name at some point. So
Have it by part two.
yeah, probably. The start of we'll start with the destruction of the planet Vegeta, or a little before that. So start with Shayot, who is one of these OCs added in, born with power level 10. As a baby, she was like sent off planet to go and conquer like a low level planet.
Typical thing Saiyans always did. They always sent the babies in the pods, and the babies saw the full moon, the planet was done, and the Frieza Warden moved in.
Yeah, she went to a planet with a power level of around like 5 or 6. That's the average. And there was no like martial artists or anything on that planet to stop her, so
There was no martial artists to raise her, or she didn't even hit her head or anything like that.
no. Yeah, but we'll get back to her because like she was sent off around age 735. Obviously, before that, Raditz would have been born, Vegeta, or you know those characters, Bulma and everything. Going forward, we'd still have Bardock on Cerealia. I'm using the Dragon Ball Zero fan manga where it shows Raditz's backstory. The events of that whole thing happen as normal. So then we get to, we're just skipping over this, but I mean it's sort of.
I mean, it's basic knowledge at this point. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, you know what happened to Planet Vegeta. Frieza, and then Bardock was afraid that Kakarot would not really make it in the Frieza forces due to his power level, and he stole a ship. He got Kakarot in the ship. Kakarot got sent off the Earth.
Gine was there as well.
Yeah, because it was a teary scene. I loved that scene in the Broly movie.
So and that still happens a little later.
Because that would allow Kakarot to grow a little bit before he went to Earth.
Yeah, he was sort of in an incubation pod, so he wasn't really out and about talking.
Right. I mean, he was big enough to have Saiyan armor on him, according to the Broly movie. So I mean, he would be a little older than.
Yeah. He wasn't an infant, no. Yeah, do you ever wonder what happened to that armor? Because it just sort of disappeared.
I would imagine that it rotted. You see, like, for example, you have the joke in DBZ Abridged, but it's actually factual. Like, if you wash this armor, it will lose its elasticity, it will decay over time. And you actually see that decay in the Broly movie when you look at Paragus' armor all those years later.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty much gone. He's a lot of the rags that he has on at that point is parts of the armor that hasn't rotted away being tied together with whatever cloth probably scavenged from the
Talking about Broly, I've decided that I might fuse both Z, Broly, and Super together.
kind of a double thing. I mean, that would knock out yet another what if Z Broly was a thing. I mean, that was a what if I discussed with What If Universe, if there was a split personality sort of situation.
Yeah, the split personality, but I'm going to say it's going to be Super Broly, but with more of Z's story with the two of them.
You would have more of an attitude problem.
I might say, yeah, a bit more of an attitude. I'll say that if I'm going to have some bit of Broly, I'm going to just say that he becomes the stereotypical Broly once he transforms into his legendary state.
It's hard for him to. Yeah, and that is part of canon. But couple of things. So, are we keeping the backstory so that he's got Kakarot as a trigger word?
No, that's stupid.
Okay, stupid. It is very stupid. I'm agreeing with you wholeheartedly on that.
Around the same time that Goku is sent off planet, Broly is still sent off planet by King Vegeta because he still fears. He was jealous. Pretty much. That's all he was.
Beginning canon of the Super Broly movie.
Yeah. The difference is when Beats and Paragus get to Vampa. They get there when it's not, a sandstorm or whatever that was. Instead, so the ship is still okay. And so they get Broly, and then I'd say they spent like a few weeks or months on that planet, just because I feel like they would just sort of see if they can get some supplies or like just some food for the return journey. All those bug creatures, pretty much.
That's what he's talking about when it comes down to machines, so he could work on the ship.
Yeah, if there was like, let's say there was some sort of issue with the ship's takeoff, but it wasn't broken or anything, it was just sort of a little touch up. So Beats could just go, yeah, I can fix that, that's fine.
He would even know what minerals to look for on the planet.
Yeah, exactly.
So those big bug carcasses could also be used as some sort of parts for ships, like. So he could be creative as far as that's concerned.
They spend a little time there before, realizing that, oh shit, Planet Vegeta's gone, if they try to get back.
In the spirit of, because we're mixing several what ifs and we're like, the fans wrote it, the idea.
Yeah.
What if a character lasted longer? I would say Beats would survive here.
Yeah.
Be useful.
Yeah. He would definitely survive here. Yeah. So with the ship actually being able to be used, Paragus doesn't resort into killing him.
So that way we've got that little tidbit in this story as well, where a character lasts a lot longer than they did in canon.
Yeah. So Beats is basically the actual good father to Broly. Well, Paragus is the more hard-ass, just train son, and...
That allows Broly to kind of have a reason for his rage other than Paragus. Like, you would also have Beats there.
Yeah.
And, like a cute little tidbit could be Beats got Bazir in sort of a wearable form for him,
Yeah, and because of that delay of them getting back to Planet Vegeta, so the three of them survive. Huzzah! And they're going to be off in the universe somewhere, recruiting, I don't know, people to their cause or something. Or
I don't think we're being too nice to Beats. Keep in mind, the entire point of the Saiyan species is they are a savage race. So any Saiyan worth their salt could survive on Vampa.
Definitely. Beats was kind of just cucked, pretty much.
He was completely cucked. That's why we have Beats in the story, to kind of reflect the fans that are like, well, this character should have lasted longer.
Yeah.
There you go. You're being hurt.
Yes, let's go. But we'll get back to, obviously, Goku sent off. At the same time, so Raditz, he competes in a tournament where he's, trying to get his first ever mission to a planet. And he has he does cheat. He gets Turles to grab Charlotto's tail.
Charlotto is he's kind of the heavy of the team, I guess.
Well, he's more the tactician and more of the sort of logical combatant.
Okay.
If anything, Nappa's the heavy.
Oh yeah, Nappa's definitely.
he's the yeah. Vegeta's like the leader. Charlotto's the tactician, the smart guy.
He's Spock.
Kind of. It's sort of like Spock, but like in a Saiyan manner.
Spock that doesn't mind throwing a punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that.
Nappa's the brawn. So yeah, this defeat actually makes him become more logical. He's like, oh shit, I need to get better. But we also have Rysella, a part of Raditz's team, was also originally in the manga it was a male character, but I was like, screw it, I might as well make it female. There's not enough female Saiyans out there.
What if so-and-so was female? Boom, we knocked out another one.
So, yeah, I just changed the O to an A. Boom, make it feminine.
There you go. Instead of Rysella, it's Rysella.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so before they leave, though, instead of Bardock, being there to give Raditz those, the red bands, it's Gine. Because at this point, Goku's is off to Earth. So, Gine's there, she sort of, is happy that her son won, not knowing that he cheated, and gives her that present as like, yeah, well done, getting that mission.
You totally earned it, didn't you?
Totally earned it. And so those three go off on that mission, and obviously are not doing great. And then we would get the, Bardock, father of Goku special.
Okay, where Bardock's okay. So hold on. So Kakarot is not sent off the planet with Bardock and Gine. Rather, we're doing the father.
No, actually, so Goku was already sent off by Bardock and Gine, so that was a month prior.
Okay, so we're incorporating both specials.
Yes, I'm merging sort of the continuities here.
Let's stay consistent. So Planet Vegeta destroys
H739.
Okay. Is this because of the delay between Kakarot leaving the planet, or?
No, it's more just because Kakarot or Goku was in, an incubation pod for like 3 years in the manga. I'm just gonna use Goku's anime birth date along with
Is the year that Planet Vegeta
normally blows up.
So he would be a couple years old.
Yeah, he would have been 2. So it's likely even after him getting the head bump, he's likely going to remember like flashes of his parents or even brother, but like
Little.
is not going to know who they are or what they are.
I mean, that even happened in canon, where after he saw Raditz, he was like, weird.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, that would mean 739 is when Planet Vegeta. As long as he's on Earth to kill Grandpa Gohan, we're good.
Yeah, he would still be on Earth to kill Grandpa Gohan, unfortunately. And so I'm gonna say Bardock's character is he doesn't like showing his emotions.
Yeah, he's strong and gritty, but
still cares. But he doesn't let people know that he cares.
Yeah.
He's basically a male tsundere. What is there a name for that?
I'll look it up. A male tsundere character is referred to an oranyan, which is nice. We can relate that to onion. Why not?
Yeah.
Oh, Bardock's an onion. It's still gonna happen. He's not gonna last long. Okay, well that's fair, but because the destruction of Planet Vegeta.
No, he's all of his teammates die. So yeah, Gine is there to help Bardock, but at the end of the day, it's just not enough.
It's not enough, and the last hurrah of the Saiyans happens because Frieza blows the planet up.
Well, it's not great.
Lies to all of the Saiyans that exist currently, like a huge meteor landed, destroyed the planet.
So after this, we get back to Raditz, who is lost basically both of his teammates. He's presumed they are dead, which they aren't.
And his brother, which he's not too really worked up about.
Yeah, Gine's message about, she just told Raditz and it was like, oh, he must have gone off to a planet to, destroy it. That's what he assumed. So, yeah, he is eventually discovered by Nappa, Vegeta, and Charlotto.
It's the same quartet.
Yeah, because after Charlotto lost, he's still like a high-class Saiyan, so it was... it is possible that he just was like, oh, he kind of lost, but I feel like Vegeta would kind of realize, well, Raditz kind of cheated.
Yeah, he would realize there's no way this man who's barely stronger than a Cyberman have won. There's no way.
Yeah, so he got Charlotto on his little group. Like, yeah, you're coming with me.
He's still probably happy about it. He's got someone to push around. Nappa and Vegeta were not exactly the most endearing teammates to Raditz.
Yeah.
So having this peon to push around, okay, well at least I have you to clean my boots for me, low class.
Yeah, so Raditz is discovered and Charlotto, he's kind of pissed off at Raditz and he makes that clear by punching him right in the gut. And then they obviously find out that the planet was destroyed. So that happens. So that's that group. I would say they about a year after, so in H740, that's when the Saiyans working under Frieza find Sheot, and they kind of find her in like a destroyed like ruin of a building, and she's like just cooking one of the local inhabitants and eating it.
She's a survivor.
Yeah, she spent like 5 years by herself, pretty much, because she killed the populace like in about a year and a half.
More Saiyans survived. Boom.
Yeah. So, because I'm gonna say the planet she was on is every like twice a month they have a full moon. I mean,
Tackling these, everybody.
I did consider like Gine would like launch off a bunch of like Saiyan babies during Planet Vegeta's destruction.
I don't think she would have the clearance, to be honest with you.
No, yeah, I did think that, but nah.
It'd be interesting.
So she spends.
I will say this, with the destruction of Planet Vegeta pushed to 739, there would be more babies having been launched in off-planet. Therefore, there would be a bigger chance that the Saiyans surviving under Frieza would find other Saiyans.
Yes, but I'm gonna, because in the Raditz Dragon Ball Zero manga, there were some other Saiyans that we met briefly that were killed by Frieza forces. I was kind of considering that they would end up getting they would end up getting like picked up by Paragus, pretty much, and
so Paragus, Beats, and Broly are picking up Saiyans instead of surviving on Pampa.
Yeah, pretty much. They realize that Planet Vegeta's gone, and it's like, oh, okay, let's see if there's any Saiyans out there that we could find.
Yeah, I guess Beats would know that because he would send several pings to planet, and nobody would pick it up.
Yeah, pretty much. And obviously on the planet that Raditz lost his team, Turles and Rasella are picked up by the Heaters.
That is Planet Cereal situation.
It's not Planet Cereal. I think it was called Desert or something like that.
Okay.
So,
Dessert. Gotcha.
Oh, Deseret or yeah, whatever it was.
Deseret.
Yeah.
You've got gas. You've got
Elec, oil, and I don't know.
You've got the heaters.
Yeah, heaters. All named after petroleum product or something. That's what it was.
Toriyama loved his puns.
Oh god, yeah, we have to say it past tense now. Fuck.
It's been that long, man. It's been that long. But you know what? As long as we're doing this, we're having fun with it. And that's what Toriyama did with a lot of his writing. He had fun with it.
So, I mean, do you think the Saiyan squad would find like 1 or 2 extra Saiyans out there? Or
Maybe 1 or 2 extra Saiyans, but I think it would be the same example. Like, it would be the same explanation. Okay, so if they were to find a few extra Saiyans, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't be, oh, well, I was a child, because the majority of the Saiyans would not have survived.
Yeah.
If Frieza could find a Saiyan before the Saiyan crew finds them, that Saiyan's dead.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Saiyan crew finds them first, or any Saiyan crew for that matter finds any other Saiyan first, then that would mean Frieza has to play it off like, oh, well, that's nice, another monkey. Why don't you go get them, and then I'll have even more monkeys. You know, like, you have to play it off just to keep Vegeta under wraps.
Yeah,
you know?
pretty much.
If they did find any Saiyans, either Frieza got to him first, or...
What I'm gonna say is it's just going to be Shayot they find because Paragus beat them to it.
That would be the best option. Plus, to mention the situation we have with Broly, Paragus, and Beats, would they find any Saiyans? I'm going to say no on that, because their amount of technology on that ship is extremely limited. Right now, they're just trying to figure out what happened to Planet Vegeta, and if it was Frieza, they're trying to stay under the radar.
I'm going to say it's the Saiyans they find, like it's just 4 more, because I think they were like Saiyans who were killed originally, but like I'm saying in this, Paragus finds them first, so there was like a group of 3 adult Saiyans, and then a 10-year-old Saiyan who finished wiping out a population.
Would be the most that they would find.
That's the most they find, and it's the most they sort of pick up.
And most of the time, you know, when they find a ping about a distress signal, they would find that some Saiyans were already killed.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's when they would figure it out. Oh, Frieza did this, and then we need to avoid Frieza, so we can't pick up any more Saiyans.
Yeah. So they just go with the ones they have.
Yep, they'll either go to another galaxy or go to another system somewhere outside of Frieza's range of influence.
Yeah, maybe try and repopulate their numbers a little bit.
To a completely other planet. I mean, hell, it worked with Tarble, who got that weird little alien
Oh.
girl, and Yo Son Goku and his friends.
That does give a question of if they eventually find Tarble on that planet. That'd be crazy.
It's possible. I mean, okay, we could incorporate that where Tarble's on the planet. He saved the planet, and Paragus mistakes him for the current heir to the throne. Like, oh, you're part of the royalty, but you're not Vegeta.
My name's
Tarble,
Tarble.
actually. I'm Prince Vegeta's brother. He's like, oh, well, you know what happened to Planet Vegeta? What?
And, I mean, I could see Paragus not, I mean, he does have a vendetta against the, royal family, but, after realizing Tarble wasn't really ever raised in that environment, it's like, well, didn't really do anything.
And so we don't have way too many Saiyans, later on down the timeline. Several of those Saiyans could be killed by Abel and Kato. And that's when we first see, in this little side special, Broly lose it and kill Abel and Kato, and that's where the electric collar comes in.
But we'll get to that in time.
Get to that. We will.
So
That is definitely a side story that we will.
yeah, so there are different different Saiyans out there across the universe.
Well,
Yes,
let's focus on the main timeline with everybody's favorite Saiyan, Kakarot, aka
Well,
Goku.
we haven't finished with Shout yet. That's
Oh,
what.
shit. Okay, so she gets picked up by
Yeah.
Vegeta's crew.
Yeah, she's sort of she's spent 5 years on her own, but that's a lot of time to be by herself. She's kind of feral at that point. She just by the time they find her, she has a power level 50 from all the Zenkais and stuff. And she the first thing she does is when Raditz sees her, it's like, oh, and then she bites his finger. Just straight chomps it on it. And does not let go until Nappa grabs Shout's tail. Which I think Charlotte and Vegeta would have a little laugh at that.
Yeah, they would have a giggle about it. And so she would be picked up. It would take a bit of time to acclimatize her with how the Frieza forces do things, but
Yeah, I mean,
she would.
I imagine that she would have to go in front of Frieza first, though. When they grab her. Just
Yeah,
oh.
and I'm sure he's gonna be plotting. Okay, so how do I kill the female Saiyan so that more Saiyans don't spawn up somewhere?
Yeah.
We really dropped the ball on destroying Planet Vegeta.
Yeah, basically, he's killed at least 7 Saiyans who are not on Planet Vegeta at the time, but he's still missed out on at least 2 of them. Fuck.
He's realizing that his destruction of Planet Vegeta was a little he's either blaming haste or he's also blaming, well, shoot, I let him live for 2 extra years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kicking himself apart.
Yeah. And actually, I forgot. Yeah, no, actually, I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, she does go.
So she's got to acclimatize to the Frieza forces through Vegeta's crew. So we have Vegeta's 5-man Land Shark team.
Yeah, pretty much. They do send her off on a few missions with Raditz, but then they quickly kind of realize
Low-level planet, yeah.
she kind of quickly realizes that she's sort of hesitant to get into fighting or brutalizing a species.
Raditz is annoyed about it because we're talking Saiyans should be a proud warrior race and blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
she wiped out that first planet. What's so hard about this one?
Exactly. That's what he's like. We got you when you were eating one of the planet's inhabitants. How are you so bad at this?
She was just hungry.
I'm just hungry. It's sad because that's exactly the reason a Saiyan would use.
Yep. So eventually she kind of just gets desk duty and, gets into engineering, and that's sort of how she becomes valuable to the team.
Because Raditz would complain about it, be like, this woman is useless in a fight.
Yeah.
Like, she's going to get one of us killed if we really have to babysit this.
Yeah.
You know?
Pretty much. And I kind of see Frieza being like, oh, well, she's not much of a threat. There's not any point killing her.
I feel like Frieza would still want to kill her, but thanks to, like, maybe Zarbon or Dodoria being like, well, I mean, the main thing is that they don't multiply, right? If we have the girl, if we have the Saiyan female on the watch at all times, then I suppose that won't happen. She could be like your little monkey pet, Lord Frieza. I do enjoy that thought. It would annoy Vegeta that I would be keeping an eye on one of his monkeys for him. You know,
Yeah.
like, it would annoy Vegeta, and that would just make Frieza happy. Okay, I'll keep my eye on the only woman Saiyan there is. Yeah.
Plus, I think Vegeta might also, like, once he's old enough, she is a mid-class Saiyan, so, like, she might be a queen in the future if he gets rid of Frieza.
In the future, he is looking to take over the Empire. Like,
Yeah.
that's on his mind.
Yeah.
So, a king needs a queen. Like, that is going to be on his mind.
And he's like, well, she's the best I've got. She'd be the best I've got to continue the Saiyan race. And fortunately for Vegeta,
He'd be too pig-headed about it, and she wouldn't like it.
nah. Yeah, exactly. Charlotto and Shao, one's a tactician and the other's in the intelligence and engineer. So, I mean, some of their jobs or, like, their interests do kind of, cross. And they begin sort of, like, there's not anything happening because Frieza's keeping an eye on Shao. But there's definitely an attraction would be growing there.
There would naturally be an attraction there.
Yeah.
But there would be a naturally attraction there for Raditz and Vegeta and Charlotta. It's not a surprise in the slightest that a Saiyan would see a female, and that would be the case as they grow up into puberty. Like it's
Yeah.
just, humans go through the same thing. Saiyans go through the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
The difference is that Saiyans are attracted to strong women. And so she would have to embody that strong-willed woman thing. Raditz wouldn't fall for it because Raditz has seen this woman on a planet. She was pathetic. So maybe Raditz wouldn't be attracted to Shao.
Yeah, plus, I kind of have the idea that technically Shao is actually, she's treated better than Raditz is, and that kind of annoys him because she's like weak and he's like stronger.
Yeah, why is she being treated better? I'm stronger than she. She's weaker than a Cyberman. Well, because she's the one that gets us from planet to planet. So shut up.
Pretty much, yeah. And that's sort of what drives him to get stronger himself.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he broke.
The 2000 range.
See, I didn't want to say 2000 because I think it would be a little bit much, especially with. Because I don't think Shalata is gonna help him friggin' train. He'd be training by himself.
Yeah. Charlotto would sort of be training with the prince from time to time. I mean, he'd probably be stronger than Nappa, I'd say.
That's why I'm saying 1600 is good, because that's 600 points more than a Cyberman, and that's probably what Raditz is fighting.
I'm gonna say like 1700.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. I'm just thinking 2000 is way too much.
Yeah, and then obviously Nappa's would be like 4000. I was thinking Charlotto would be 6000 or 7000.
Yeah, make him a little stronger than Nappa, but he doesn't flaunt it.
No, he doesn't flaunt it, and then obviously
Because
Vegeta.
Nappa's always there, like, what do you think, Prince? Yeah, I gotta take care of the Prince. Nappa's the big uncle of the crew.
Yeah, and yeah, I was considering, maybe Nappa would have a soft spot for Shao in a more fatherly way.
Yeah, he's too old for that crap by now. Huh?
Yeah, it's more paternal love rather than actual love.
Yeah. So that would be the dynamic of the crew. Saiyan, Frieza would keep an eye on the female Saiyan. The female Saiyan would be the pit jockey.
Yep.
Yeah. And the Saiyans would respect her just because of sending the Saiyans off to planets to destroy them.
Yeah.
For Lord Frieza. So
And she's the
that
only
would
one who
be-
can backtalk Vegeta without getting
without getting decked
beaten.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because for two reasons. One, she's the only Saiyan female, and Vegeta doesn't want to aggravate her. Two, because she is Lord Frieza's pet, and pissing that off was not a good way to survive.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, so she gets away with it. She's got props as far.
And also, Vegeta kind of likes it, actually.
Yeah, I mean we know how he is with Bulma and Canon, so he doesn't mind a strong-willed woman.
Definitely. He prefers it, actually.
I kind of like her feistiness.
Yes.
But that is the Saiyan crew under Lord Frieza. We touched on Broly and Paragon and such.
Yeah, and we've done all that, so now we can move on to Earth. A year after, in H741, that's when Tenchi's born. My other character.
Tenchi is the reliable human.
Yes.
Yep. The reliable human character that we have. What if Yamcha? What if Krillin? What if Tien? What if...
I mean, he's gonna sort of encourage them to actually, continue training.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if insert Earthling here was more powerful? There you go.
Okay.
That's why Tenchi is existing.
Yeah.
And so insert Earthling here. We said, what if Tenchi was a thing?
And Tenchi is actually the younger brother of Miguel, Mark's future wife.
Related to okay.
Yeah, and he actually has a proper family rather than just being by himself. He actually has parents in the picture during the start of Dragon Ball.
Okay, so we have Tenchi here being born age 741, 2 years after Kakarot lands on Earth. Excuse me. So that would mean we just have another Earth. Where would he go throughout his life, and what kind of perks does he bring with him?
I would say that he kind of gets into the sort of training under Mark's or Mr. Satan's master.
The Dojo Satan Castle.
Yeah, the Dojo Satan Castle, yes. That's sort of the first sort of martial artist dojo he goes to because his parents are like, well, that's the closest one. And I'm just going to say that it's the Satan Castle is in East City.
I just realized something. So okay, so he goes to the Dojo Satan Castle. At what age?
I'm going to say about 6 years old he starts.
6 years old he starts, so 741, 747.
Yeah.
He starts there.
Yeah.
Okay, he starts at age 747, and then lasts less than a year. What are we talking? Midway through 747 here? Because 748 is when Tao Pai kills the leader.
Well, maybe maybe I'll say a year early.
Okay, so age 746. So he's there for about a year and a half.
Yep.
Year and a half, 2 years, and then he comes home one day, and his parents are like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Teacher's dead."
Or basically the whole thing still goes down the same way because I just imagine Tenchi was in the bathroom when it happened.
Oh, I am just losing it at the thought of a child being like, "Oh, my teacher's dead."
Yeah. So he can't do anything at the moment.
I'd say he'd still be friends with Mark.
I'd still probably say still friends with Mark. I mean
he's Mark's little buddy,
and that's how Mark meets his sister.
Yeah, that's how Mark meets Miguel.
Yeah.
And so I would think they would meet. He would say, "Well, I'm still gonna do my thing in Dojo Satan Castle," but he's gonna be like, "Well, I would want to, but Mom wants me to train up under a master. I'm gonna go here, wherever here is. What other martial arts school? I mean, because we have
the Crane School, maybe.
That would probably be the more realistic choice.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about Roshi, that ain't gonna happen.
No.
That ain't gonna happen. The only other place I would suggest is the Orin Temple, but
nah.
With someone like his talent, maybe that's when. I mean, what other perks does the kid have? He's just a good martial artist. What?
Oh, I mean, I say he grows quicker than He doesn't go as fast as a Saiyan, but he does grow quicker than a normal human.
Well, he's a useful human, right?
Yeah.
So far beyond what Roshi thought they were capable of, Yamcha and Krillin both pulled off the Kamehameha.
Yeah.
So what does he bring to the table as far as technique? What does he bring to the table as far as what will make him the reliable human in this situation?
He's his fucking transformation.
Transformation. He has a transformation.
Yes. So basically, I've kind of adapted, Avatar state, because.
I was about to say, what does James Cameron have to do with this?
No, not that version. That version can rot in hell.
The Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes. Basically, Tenchi, going back to Mutaito, is the reincarnation of that guy.
He's the reincarnation of Mutaito.
Yes. He has, before Tenchi, there were three, other between Mutaito and him. There was first a woman who was a part of Nam's tribe, back in the past. And then there was a Triclops reincarnation, and then, Upa's great-grandfather.
Okay, so you have Mutaito, a Nam's village person.
Yeah.
You have an Upa's village person.
Yeah. And, Triclops.
Triclops person before they were all slaughtered.
Yeah.
So that life didn't last long at all.
Well, actually, no, it lasted. I don't think even they were slaughtered.
So he would have a natural acclimatation to ki.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, okay, so he can naturally feel ki, like he can sense ki.
Pretty much, yeah.
Naturally. I would say that he's a little bit physically weaker due to his age.
Yeah, I mean, he's like very young still.
Yeah, but he's got, he's got talent.
Yeah, and Shen was like, ooh, okay.
It was pre-Roshi training Krillin, basically.
Yeah.
Would be his strength. Okay. So he would find the Crane School.
Or his parents find it.
His parents would know the Crane School. He wouldn't even know that Tao Pai Pai killed his master.
Ah! Oh, that's gonna be funny.
Oh, irony is just brilliant, man.
Oh, it's gonna build up to something, don't you worry.
Oh, wow.
Or his parents find, like, another dojo that's, closer to home.
But doesn't work out as much,
or he's, like, training in a local tournament, and then that's where Shen...
Yeah, he trains for a local tournament by himself because he had several masters, but he didn't like the masters.
Yeah.
So he trains by himself. Maybe he spars a bit with Mark to kind of keep his...
Which probably makes Mark slightly stronger overall.
Yeah, Mark would get a little stronger as far as that's concerned. But after training for a while, he gets the hit from Mutaito, right?
The hit what?
He understands that there's more than just him in his head.
Well, I'm gonna say that it's not gonna be until like the tournament, like the actual World Martial Arts tournament, that happens.
Okay, so but he would enter a tournament by himself.
Well, it's like one of those local tournaments you have in that tournament in the filler. It's kind of like that.
Okay, so he enters that tournament in the filler, right? Like a little, not even a street brawling tournament, just one of those local tournaments.
Yeah, around like East City, because that's where he lives.
Like a low amount, like 5,000 zeni.
Yeah.
Is the price. Okay, so he goes there, and he would meet a younger Tien who's also there.
Yes.
And he would, he would be impressed and have a good fight. And so would Tien, and they would be getting watched by Crane Hermit, and
I still think Tien would win though. Let's be honest.
Tien would win.
Yeah.
But it would be such a close contest that he'd be like, I can see how fierce your rivalry will be in the future. Yes. You should harness that emotion.
Yeah.
Come, I shall train both of you to be the fiercest of rivals.
Yeah.
Uh,
Though
so-
Shen, it always has some devious ass plan behind that shit.
That is the devious ass plan. Allow them to be fierce enough rivals that they get that sort of murderous intent that Tao Pai Pai has.
Yeah.
You know, like it's always that with him. So while Tien goes more of a villain route, Tenchi, because of the
Spirit.
reincarnation stuff, that
And also him just being a good person.
yeah,
like-
he could just be a good person.
Because he has parents. Like, he has parents, a family. He's like, I'm good.
It would annoy Shen to a degree, but
There's not much
a
he can
lot of the
do.
times- Yeah, there's not much he can do. It would annoy Shen to a degree, and also being of a good nature, he might think of things that Chaozu and Tian just don't think about, and it's like, oh, okay, that actually helps. That's
Yeah.
fine,
It might,
you know?
yeah, it's an interesting thought, but like, that's gonna continue for a little while. But now
We continue down the time.
I guess we could actually start the Goku meeting Bulma.
Towards the tail end of age 739, just about to be 740, a Saiyan pod crashes in the Mount Paozu region
Yep.
and is found by the Grandpa Gohan. And of course, the feisty Saiyan child ends up breaking from his grip and bumps his head.
Bumps his head, and it makes more sense that he's like a 2-year-old that bumps his head than instead of a baby.
Yeah, yeah. And so the 2-year-old Goku, as he is named by Grandpa Gohan, he ends up getting nurtured back to health. Makes
Yep.
a good relationship with Grandpa Gohan, and
And then he dies because Goku looks.
accidentally kills him because full moon. So little Goku, up until about age 10, about 8 years later, survives in the Mount Paozu region. The mystical journey of the 7 Dragon Balls.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that the original arc would go about the
It
same.
would be about the same age.
Yeah,
Bulma would be the same age. You know, they would save Oolong. They would fight.
though I imagine that Goku is slightly more aware. So like with the pterodactyl, Goku doesn't just like, oh, are you friends with Bulma? No, it's like, oh,
He would be able to receive what training he did get from Gohan as far as survival. He wouldn't be as like much of a fun
Yeah.
goosey child. He'd be like, oh, I know how to do this, and do it, and be like, yay, I did it.
he doesn't know how to fly or use the Kamehameha yet.
No, he can't use the Kamehameha yet, but as far as the pterodactyl is concerned, he knows how to use the power pole. He paid attention a little bit more to Bulma operating the motorcycle.
Yep.
And yeah, he would have saved Bulma all the same. Saved the turtle.
Though I could imagine, like, because I think Bulma did ask, like, if Goku had parents or anything. And Goku would be like, well, in his head, he's like, I mean, I do have dreams sometimes of these two figures, but I don't know.
I wouldn't even think it would be like that. I feel as though Toriyama would play it off like, well, I mean, that's what my grandpa told me and how I got here. You have a mom and dad too, don't you? You know, like he would be aloof about it and be like, well, duh, everybody's got a mom and dad. Now we're here. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know where they are, but they're somewhere. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's those two faces in his mind that he's gonna still figure out.
Yeah, he's still gotta figure it out, but he'd be like, well, yeah, they're around somewhere, I guess. You know.
And Bulma's like, oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, we would still all the filler with the peel-off gang as well.
Dang, Oolong, Yamcha fight.
Well, I mean, obviously he would have actually got the Kamehameha down earlier. So
Well, yeah, because of Fire Mountain.
yeah,
We would send Boss Carrot and his minions.
to the moon.
So Goku would, yeah, we would get all the way to the Peel-Off Gang summoning the dragon.
Yep.
Oolong would for
Underwear.
panties.
It's
Underwear.
Whatever. Yeah.
The most comfortable pair of
Underwear.
Actually, no, it would be the most comfortable pair of underwear. It just so happens that the dragon made it women's underwear.
I mean, that's probably was just a translation thing.
Yeah, it was probably a translation issue, but that would happen. They're in the thing, and they're arguing about, well, you could have wished for something other than underwear. Hey, I just saved our butts.
Yeah. Fucking Oolong, he's the savior of that fucking arc. He stopped Pilaf's wish.
So they're all... Goku's more against it though, because I believe he would be a little bit aware, like, last time I looked at the moon, my chest really hurt for a bit, and then I don't remember anything.
And then in the morning, Grandpa was dead.
Yeah, in the morning, Grandpa was dead by the big monster that came out during the full moon. I slept right through it because my chest hurt so much.
And then everyone's like,
Yeah, so he would look at the full moon because that would be the only way they get out of there. That stays canon.
Yeah, it's just they're like, well, maybe don't look at the moon. It's like, oh, what? And then he looks at the moon. He's like, ah!
You transform, but I would think, considering you have this Goku that's a little bit more conscionable, you know, Bulma would find her pack of capsules among the rubble.
Well, she lost those capsules. Well, oh, actually, yeah, she got a new set after losing the first set. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like, she got a new set in the town, and then the Pilaf gang took those capsules.
Yeah.
They were in prison. And so among the rubble, Bulma would find them. And among those capsules is like, hey Bulma, do you have a change of clothes for me? That way he doesn't have to take Oolong's overalls. You know, he would actually have his own little wardrobe to wear. Like, he would still swim naked.
Yeah.
Like, whenever he was fishing for the tuna in Mount Paozu, whenever he had to go in the water, he'd still do that naked, but he would know, okay, drier clothes are probably more comfortable. And so he would have another gi similar to his classic Dragon Ball gi, you know, the blue.
So he would be going to the Roshis to train.
Yep, he would be going to Roshi's to train, but I'm saying, like, he doesn't show up in Oolong's gear, he shows up in his own gi.
Yeah.
You know, he's got some stuff. He's got some stuff.
Well, I think he did change. Like he went to Paozu first and then to Roshi's.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He has a capsule with all his stuff, so he doesn't even have to make the stop to Mount Paozu because he doesn't have a Force Rider. He goes right to Roshi after that.
Yeah.
After the arc with
Hold on, my cat wants to get out of my room, so I'll be...
it would just be Roshi training and Glenn training with Roshi when he gets there. You know, the girly magazines and all that. A lot of Dragon Ball remains just canon.
Well, I mean, I still want to go through it. I don't want to just skip over.
Definitely, we're not gonna skip over it, but I'm saying, like, a lot of Dragon Ball will end up being canon, but with a slightly different Goku. And
Yeah, I mean, we also have Tenchi to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, another character in the background that is adding to the plot in the background.
Yeah. So I guess the training for the first tournament it still goes as normal. They get launch.
21st World Martial.
21st, yes, World Martial Arts Tournament. And in this one, I would say there is only 8, contestants for this first one.
As per usual.
Yeah, and I am gonna say that Tenchi is going to compete in this tournament.
Maybe he goes on his own, like that. Him constantly thinking of about everybody else. Like Shen is like, no. We will participate in the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament. You are not ready yet. And he's like, well, yeah, I am ready, and I want to go.
It's like, it's more like Tenchi's like, well, I kind of just want to see what's out there. He doesn't really expect to win. He just wants to see, like, what type of martial artists and what type of fighters are out there. Just, experience different fighting styles and everything.
Yeah, I would say...
He brings Mark along, because it's like, hey, I'm
participate?
He does participate, but he ends up getting eliminated in the preliminaries by, like, Bacterian.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I would also say he would be, so Tenchi would replace...
Ranfan.
Ranfan, I agree. He would replace Ranfan.
Yeah, Ranfan can't really do anything to a kid who hasn't hit puberty yet.
Yeah. If it was Goku, Krillin might have lost to Ranfan. I'm not sure about Krillin.
Goku wouldn't care.
And I don't think Tenchi at his age would care.
Plus, I don't think Ranfan's gonna do that to a kid. That's
We
wrong.
have an interesting. Okay, so Bacterian and Krillin, per usual. Jackie Chan and Yamcha, per usual.
Actually, I was gonna flip it. Say that Tenchi actually fights Roshi in the quarterfinals.
Oh, so you want Yamcha to go against Nam?
Yeah,
Okay, so Yamcha versus Nam. I would still say Nam would win,
yeah,
so that we still have that classic Yamcha gets knocked out.
yeah. Though he's overconfident as shit and just takes advantage
Yeah,
of
he
that.
is. Yep, and he learns a thing of being patient and being focused as a warrior.
Yeah, Nam actually goes like, well, yeah, maybe next time, maybe you should.
Maybe next time you could come to my village and I will teach you a thing or two.
Yeah. Obviously, Tenchi would lose against Roshi. Yeah.
This is where Tenchi gets a lesson from Roshi as opposed to Shin.
Yeah.
About, like the point of a martial artist is to not be the strongest, is to always seek stronger and stronger. So even though you lost today, you may win in the future.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say though that Tenchi does bring out a few of the Crane School's techniques.
Yeah, Roshi would recognize that.
Like he did I'd say he does the solar flare, the Dodon. Was it the Dodon? No.
Dodonpa.
Dodonpa, yeah, and he could fly, so he tried to get knocked out once.
He would get knocked out and he would be like, ah, and catch himself.
Yeah,
And
that's
Roshi would be like, huh? And of course the announcer would be like, what in the world is this?
you can
Tenchi
fly.
is floating inches off of the grass. He's not technically out yet.
Yeah,
And that's when Roshi would be like, how did you learn such a technique? Well, Jackie Chun would learn such a technique. Where did you learn such a technique? Oh, my current master taught me. Yeah, he didn't want me participating in this tournament, but I really wanted to see how I would do. Interesting. You wouldn't be a student of the Crane School, would you? How did you know? Have you trained under them too, Mr. Chan? He would be completely
oblivious. Like he's just a kid. He's just a nice
be
kid.
clueless about it being Roshi, and that's what would throw Roshi off because he's a nice kid. He's not a brute, yet he's training under Shen. Something doesn't add up here.
And I like the idea as well. Tenchi at one point does one of Mutaito's like stances, and he's like, "Huh? Hang on, what the?"
He would know about who he's learning under, and of course, that's where okay, so Jackie Chan keeps the ruse throughout the whole tournament. As far as Tenchi going up against Chun is concerned, Chun does his thing. After the tournament, as far as Chun is concerned with Tenchi, Chun disappears, and of course Master Roshi would go up to him and be like, I heard from Jackie Chan how good of a warrior you are. If you want training from a different master, I would recommend you stay away from Shen, and he would share a bit of knowledge as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, I'd still say maybe like he trains with Roshi secretly.
Yeah, he would, and
Yeah. And obviously his family would have watched the tournament.
Yep, his family would have been there watching because his family would have been supportive. Like, well, if you want to fight in this tournament, we are going to get you to that tournament.
Yeah, that
I
definitely.
don't care what your teacher says. We're gonna get you there.
And like Miguel was like, well, and maybe get Mark.
Yeah, and then Mark loses during the preliminary. So we still have Bacterian versus Krillin.
Yeah. It's still the win that Goku and Roshi still fight at the end, and the whole Uzaru thing happens like normal, but like there's an extra like layer of story there because of Tenchi.
Yeah, there is an extra layer of story there. Tenchi would be there.
He meets like Goku and Krillin.
He meets Yamcha. He meets Nam, who by this point in the series is a good guy.
Yeah, he was always a good guy.
There's a lot of good guys, but he also meets Giran,
Yeah.
bad guy.
Yeah, and that whole like filler of him just sort of staring at the. Because I'm gonna say the tournament like goes over 2 days, so like as a the first 8 the first 4 fights happen, and then the next day the last 3 I guess go.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would go well. As far as the tournament is concerned, it's still the same result where Goku loses in the last round to Jackie Chun. It's a really close contest, but Jackie Chun's able to get up and say he's the master of martial arts. And Goku would lose, but Goku would learn the humility lesson, just like Krillin learned the humility.
And just like Tenchi did previously.
Just like Tenchi and just like Yamcha. Like, Yamcha even learned that lesson as well.
Yeah.
So they all learned that lesson, and then, he's heading out. The Goku, the Turtle Crew, I'm going to say the Turtle School.
Yeah.
They all meet Tenchi's parents. They all are walking out. And, of course, Tenchi's like, so, what are you guys going to do for the rest of the summer? And Goku's like, well, I got to go find my grandpa's Dragon Ball.
And then Bulma, like, interjects that your Dragon Ball won't be active for another few months, Goku. Because it was only 8 months by the time of the tournament. So, there's 4 more months left before they're active again. I could see him going into the city, because, Bulma did ask him if he wanted to come along. So I could see him, wanting to see the city, what that's like.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tenchi invited Goku over.
Yeah, Tenchi could invite him over, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, during the 4 months, Goku would still, like, exercise and do his thing.
Oh, yeah, I'd imagine Tenchi and him would do some training.
Yeah, there would be some training there.
If Goku, shows the Nimbus, do you think Tenchi would be able to ride it?
Yes and no. I would say yes, because we're painting him out to be the nice guy.
Yeah.
I would say no, because he still disrespected his master and went somewhere he wasn't supposed to be.
True. Yeah.
And he is, while he is, an innocent, relatively good-mannered kid, he's still, under his parents for a reason. And it's possible that with his previous lives in the, what do you think,
Key Carnation. Yeah.
Either way, with the cycle, as it were, he still hasn't really gathered. His soul is a bit unstable, I guess you could say.
True.
In the sense that he doesn't know about the other things. So he's a little immature, even though his heart's coming from a good...
So I do think Roshi would figure it out. Like, yeah, he would sort of like, oh, Kid did some stances that I'm very familiar Mutayuto used to do.
So, like, I would think, okay, so to paint this out, right?
Yeah.
Goku would go to Tenchi's after the tournament.
Yep.
He would make the family regret that because they're afraid to...
Yep. Oh.
But he would have a good training session with Tenchi.
And I imagine with the Nimbus, like, Tenchi goes off to train with Roshi or get some lessons from Roshi every now and then.
So, like, similar to Krillin, Tenchi would ride the Nimbus, but he would hold on to Goku.
Yeah. Or maybe with the Nimbus, we have an effect that we've never seen, where he sinks down the cloud, like, to near to the bottom, but he doesn't go through it completely.
Yeah, he goes about hip high.
Yeah.
And this is when he also discovers Goku's weakness at the tail, because he'll grab Goku's tail and be like, ow! Don't... Oh no, wait, he wouldn't have his tail, because he turned into a monkey in the middle of the tournament.
Actually, no, the moon was blasted, that's what... So he still has his tail.
Alright.
Yeah.
So yeah, he would be like, ow, don't grab my tail, I don't like it. And we would see that, a rerun from what happened with Chi-Chi.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, maybe, and then Tenchi's like, well, maybe you should try and train your tail to stop the weakness.
Yeah, he would give him the idea of it, like, maybe you should, stretch it out, do tail ups a little bit.
I don't know. Yeah.
He would do that.
And also, I'm just kind of, I like the idea of Tenchi's parents are just happy that Tenchi has, like, a friend.
It would be a cute scene where, okay, so, like, after dinner, Goku's finding out about these cartoons and, watching them.
Yeah.
With Tenchi. And, Tenchi would be like, so, like, your tail is a weak point, right? He's like, no, I just don't like touching it because I lose all my power. And Tenchi would grab one of his, like, 3-pound little barbells and put it down and be like, grab that with your tail. What? Grab that with your tail and lift it. And, it would be a new challenge for Goku.
Yeah.
So he would totally be down for that. And he
Oh.
would be like, "Can I borrow this?"
I'm just now I'm just imagining Mark, Tenchi, and Goku like also sparring with
Goku
Mark.
find it normal, but everybody else around Goku's like, "Why does he have a monkey tail?"
Tenchi's like, oh, it's fine. He's...
I think it makes him a better fighter.
Yeah, but I like the concept that like every time Mark comes around, like he does some sparring, but it keeps on getting like wrecked by Goku and Tenchi.
I mean, that doesn't stop him. If anything, Hercule is relatively tenacious.
He's probably going to be stronger than his original counterpart.
He's definitely going to be stronger than his original counterpart. I wouldn't give him flight or anything like that.
No.
He is going to be stronger.
I'd say by like after the 4 months of like waiting around or training and doing that, Mark gets like maybe a power level of like, I don't know, 47 or something.
Close to 50.
Yeah. Goku's the strongest one. Tenchi's behind that. But like, you know, they're up there. They're over the 100 mark at that point.
Yeah, so that would happen. Tenchi and Goku would get along. It wouldn't be long before Shen would wonder where Tenchi is.
Well, I mean, Tenchi still does actually go to lessons with Shen.
I'm saying he wouldn't attend as many lessons.
Yeah.
And yet, he's still staying about on par with Tien, like there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So Shen would start getting curious. And then one particular morning, Goku wakes up and the Dragon Ball radar is beeping.
Yeah, because I imagine Bulma just gave it to him.
Yeah, Bulma would give it to him and be like, when you hear that thing beeping, that means the Dragon Balls are back. And Goku's like, I can find the 4-star ball again. And then we go into the Red Ribbon Saga.
I mean, Tenchi might go, but then his parents are like, you have school and other priorities, you can't go.
Yeah, you have school and you have other things that you have to do. You are not going to endanger your life alongside that monkey boy. You know?
Yeah. Like, we're happy that you have a friend, but, like, come on.
Yeah. You have other friends at your other school, your other martial arts school as well, and you have friends at school, you know?
Because he does go to school.
Well, just like Bulma, he goes to school.
He's at this point, like, he's like a 9-year-old child. Yeah, so...
That's why I said he wouldn't be able to ride the Nimbus by himself, because, oh, but Mom, no buts, aw.
Yeah, he's still a child that's
Suburban child, you know? Like, he's still, go to school and all that. Goku would go on the journey against the Red Ribbon Army in order to find his Dragon Balls.
Yeah, and that would go pretty much similar.
Pretty much the same. Bulma and Krillin would get involved.
The Red Ribbon Army would still be in the same places that were in canon, because the Dragon Balls weren't active until an actual year passed. With Silver, he probably, like, similar things would happen to him.
Penguin Village would still happen, but it would just be one of those side stories, because Penguin Village was largely about, the Arale series that Toriyama would do. So Arale would still be there. It's just instead of chasing General Blue in there, Goku just comes across the way after he thinks the Dragon Radar's busted.
Yeah.
And he would come across that village, Arale, who's a big challenge, and play wrestling with Arale.
Yeah.
Yep. And it is not just it's not just Krillin and Goku and Bulma that goes to the Pirate Cove before they meet General Blue. It is Krillin, Bulma, Goku, and Yamcha and Quark.
Yes. Yeah.
Who would also be there because Yamcha, for one thing, got beaten pretty bad from Nam. Right?
Yeah.
So and Nam offered that invite. Well, before Goku even meets General Blue, he would go. He would. Well, no. When he meets General Blue in order to get the submarine from Roshi and that whole thing happens to go to the Pirate Cove in the first place, that would mean Yamcha would be there training with Roshi already. And why would he do that? Well, because he's got a new rival in the form of Nam. So Yamcha, in an effort to best Nam, knows Goku bested Nam. Goku trained under Roshi, put 2 and 2 together, and go to Roshi's.
Yeah.
some training. He would have been training with Poir. Surprisingly, Poir. Like I never understood that. Why the heck was Poir carrying milk in that scene? Like I never understood. Why is Poir training under Roshi? Poir was just participating alongside Yamcha,
Yeah.
just being a loyal. But Yamcha and Krillin would be training together earlier. So Yamcha, Krillin, Bulma, Poir, and Goku would all go to the Pirate's Cove.
Yeah.
And so the main difference, I think Krillin would win against General Blue. Because
Yeah, why?
we naturally have to have the cope, or not the cope. We naturally have to have the oh goodness, what is the word for something that always happens, but it's a regular thing that occurs.
A thing? I don't know.
We have to naturally have the quirk, I'm gonna say, where Yamcha loses first.
Yeah.
So Yamcha would lose against Blue, but thanks to Krillin being clever, he would see how Yamcha lost because of the whole paralysis thing.
So I imagine before Blue uses the paralysis, like, Yamcha's actually doing quite well against him.
Yeah, Yamcha would be doing quite well against him, but after the paralysis stare, Yamcha just starts biting it.
Yeah.
And then Krillin has to kind of bail him out of that situation. And that's when Yamcha would be like, Krillin, don't look at his eyes. His eyes, you'll freeze up. You know? I would think we would get a cool scene from Krillin here where he, like, takes a bit of cloth out and wraps his eyes and says, what are you doing? Something I learned from the Orient Temple. You gotta rely on something other than your eyes. You know, like, it would be a fun callback as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
Krillin would beat General Blue.
Yeah.
And that's when Goku would arrive. I would say the split up would be like
Bulma and Goku.
But no, I would say Yamcha would have Poir go with Goku.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He's gonna stick with Bulma.
Yeah, it's kind of like the original gang from like the Pilaf Saga reunited.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I would think like, Goku would still fight with the calamari.
And eat it.
He would eat the calamari. It would all be around the same, except by the time Goku gets there, as far as General Blue's defeated by Krillin.
And then Goku's like, wow, you beat him. That's amazing. Good job.
Are you okay? Poir, are you okay, Yamcha? I'll be fine, Poir, but I kind of need you to transform into a pair of handcuffs. Why? Because we gotta take this guy out of here. He's bad news.
Oh.
So, because the extra hands are there, and because, the explosives aren't set off, they're able to get not only the treasure out of there, but General Blue out of there.
And actually, with Silver, I've got, before, but, like, I kind of have an idea that he would maybe, during, like, the destruction of the Red Ribbon base, he and Violet to end up meeting there, and so, like...
Silver killed by... Well, no.
He actually, it was never stated whether he died or not. Because
I was thinking who died from Tao Pai Pai, but no.
That was Blue, yeah. In this case, Blue's just not there. I could have seen Violet, like, being sent to get Silver, but then they end up teaming up and stealing all the money. Like, yeah, screw it, let's just rob them.
Wouldn't be surprised if afterwards, like, he got back and was fired. And then Goku attacked and he's like, well, I don't owe this place anything.
Yeah, it was like, screw it. They just steal the money, it's like, and they go off, do whatever.
Yep.
On the other hand, now we have to get to Tenchi against Shen.
Against?
What did you have in mind for that? Because, like, if Shen eventually realized...
So, Shen would realize it after Tenchi kinda... Okay, so... I would discover it in the middle of a training session.
Yeah.
Where Tao Pai Pai is observing, right? Because Shen would want a second opinion on this. He would recognize the fighting style.
Yeah. Or maybe Tenchi accidentally uses a Kamehameha at one point.
I was gonna say something close. He would know not to use the Kamehameha.
Yeah.
You would know not to do that. You'd be keeping the secret again. Why he couldn't be on the Nimbus?
Yeah.
He would keep the secret, but he would hit Tien in the chest with a similar hand movement to the Kamehameha, where it's like a double palm
Yeah.
push against the chest, and he would immediately recognize the Kamehameha, and he would be like, "Did you see that? I did. Shame. He knows something that the Turtle School does. What should we do? I will have a talk with the boy. Alone."
Oh.
And of course, that's when Tao Pai Pai kind of threatens, and we would have Tenchi with the scene with Tao Pai Pai. Of course, he seems innocent, and just barely he's dodging out of the way of Tao Pai Pai's onslaught, because it would be just all of a sudden. It would be a casual conversation at first.
Yeah.
Where it's like, "So, what other techniques have you been hiding from us?" None, sir. I'm just trying to be the best fighter I could be, and I know I ran off to the tournament, but I got to see other fighting styles, and I kind of did my own thing. Really? So what did you learn from observing and not participating? Oh, well, a lot of stuff, like, speed's important, it's important to, and then that's when, in the middle of it, Tao Pai Pai would assault
Yeah.
Tenchi. Tenchi doesn't have a hope of winning this fight.
And that could be when Tao could, threaten his loved ones during this onslaught. And that's like when Tenchi first triggers key power.
So he's able to trigger that and kind of gain the fighting styles of all these different people in the past.
Yeah, including
And
Tito.
oddly enough, the lie works. Where he was training with Roshi and crew, but
Yeah.
because this latent power ends up awakening, that's what Shen and Tao Pai Pai think is going on, actually.
Yeah.
Little do they know, they're mistaken. And so when he does awaken this, he's able to keep up with Tao Pai Pai. Tao Pai Pai still wins, but Tao Pai Pai still has to do a hell of a lot more in order to secure the victory. He would say, I would finish you off here. However, an employer of mine is having trouble with a spiky-haired boy, so to speak. You're lucky that other things have my attention. You are to go back to Shen, and you are to apologize for your observation of these techniques. Don't worry, I will leave a good word for you. And so he would ride a tree to Shen, tell him about it, then ride a tree off to go fight Goku in the Mystical Land of Korn.
Yeah, I think Tenchi would figure spiky-haired boy.
He would be a bit worried. He just got his butt handed to him by Tao Pai Pai. He knows what Tao Pai Pai is capable of.
And then later on, he would learn about the news of Tao Pai Pai's apparent death.
Yeah, and he'd be like, oh, Goku did it.
Under his breath, he says that, and it's like, what did you say, boy?
Nothing. Just somebody that I met at the tournament who kind of sounded like the guy that Tao Pai Pai. He goes, he trails off. Of course, Shen understands that he trails off. He's like, what do you mean? I just heard that Master Tao Pai Pai was, defeated. I think that same fighter's gonna go to the tournament. Really? Sounds rather interesting. Very well, we'll get you your wish as far as, what you wanted to do last time that you did without my permission. Tien, Chaozu, Tenchi, you all will be representing the Crane School at the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament. Dun dun
Done. Yeah, but yeah, Tenchi's kind of realizing, oh, shit, these guys are actually kind of bad people.
That's when he's like, how am I supposed to hide this from...
Or how am I supposed to get out of this?
I was supposed to get out of this and now I have to represent them.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like maybe some of Tenchi's good nature has rubbed off on Tien and Chaozu. They may not even actually do the whole scamming thing.
I would say Chaozu would be innocent, but Tien not so much. I think Tien is too much of a is too influenced at this point in his development by Tao Pai Pai's murderous intent.
Yeah.
He wants to be like Tao Pai Pai right now. He's not been talked to by Roshi.
True that.
So I would think, yeah, it would be 3-on-3, Crane School versus Turtle School.
Now,
along with a couple of other
what would actually be interesting is if Mark, like, if Tenchi does, talk about Tao Pai Pai to Mark, if Mark goes, what do you mean? I mean, he could have said something along the lines of that was the guy who killed our former master.
I would think that would happen during the 22nd March tournament.
Yeah.
So, so Tenchi would beat...
Well, first, before we go into the full 3-year time, we have to go through the 3-year time skip, remember? So,
all that training.
Actually, no, before that, our post Red Ribbon, we did have the Barber tournament thing. And I feel like Goku would go and get Tenchi to, compete, because he's strong.
Yeah, Tenchi would be good. Tenchi would be strong. He would also get Krillin and Yamcha
Yeah.
to compete, and Upa would be there for the ride.
And Tenchi would be like, were you the one who killed?
Yeah, he would ask Goku while, let's say, the Fangs the Bat fight with Krillin was happening. So he would ask, hey, did you ever meet someone on your travels by the name of Tao Pai Pai? Yeah, what are you talking about? Oh my.
Oh dear.
Did you kill him? And of course that's when Goku would be like,
Oh no, he kind of killed himself. He threw a grenade at me and I chucked it back.
well, see, that would be the innocent Goku that I would think would be the response. For this Goku, he would be a little more reflective on it. He's like, well, honestly, I wasn't going to. He just didn't give me an option. What do you mean? After our fight, I was gonna let him go. He threw a grenade at me, and my only reaction was to kick it back to him.
Yeah.
Really? Tao Pai Pai did that? Yeah, why? Did you know him? I didn't think he would have gone out so dishonorably, though.
Yeah.
Now he's questioning about the Crane School. That little seed of doubt is in there.
Exactly.
And I would think after the Baba tournament, because that would go about this.
I'd say, I say the order might have been Krillin, Yamcha, Tenchi, Goku.
Okay, so Krillin would lose to Fangs the Vampire.
Yeah. Well, actually, maybe not. Actually, maybe we could have it that in this timeline, Krillin actually manages to defeat Fangs.
I mean, he to use video game logic, he did have more experience as far as beating Blue.
Yeah.
Blue. It wasn't just a one-sided fight against Blue. He actually got to show his thing, show his style.
Yeah. So I'd say Krillin beats Fangs, then loses to the Invisible Man, and that's when Yamcha then uses the same trick that Krillin did in the cave.
Yep.
And he's actually able to, sense the Invisible Man, and he wins that little bout.
He would lose to Bandages.
Yeah. Then Tenchi would come in.
Tenchi would come in, and that's when he would figure out, okay, so the best way that I have to win this, because I'm smaller than Krillin, or than
yeah, he's a little kid.
The best way that I could do this, okay, here's an idea. And by now he would know the Dodon Pa. So, I imagine...
Well, he already knew the Dodon Pa.
Well, I'm saying by now he would have mastered it.
Yeah, true.
It wouldn't take much energy to use it.
Yeah. He hasn't mastered the Kamehameha yet.
What he would do is kind of lure Bandages the mummy into a small, false sense of security.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, hey, I know you're a big mummy guy, but I want to be sure that we're fighting honorably. Honorably? What do you mean, little kid? So, before every battle, my teacher would have us stare at the opponent and do this and kind of put his hands in front of his face. Of course, he's like, all right, I'll oblige this, because up to now he seemed like a pretty innocent kid. Bandit just doesn't think there's a trick going on.
Yeah.
And but the trick is just like this. And now we have to say the word solar flare, and he would blind Bandages the mummy.
That is a good one. That is funny.
And after blinding Bandages the mummy, you know, Bandages is like holding his eye, like, I can't see the light of 1,000 raws, you know, like is in my eyes, and that's when he'd be like, that's exactly what I want, and he points his finger between Bandage's legs, shoots the ground underneath him, and he would fall.
Oh shit.
He would break the stone because he knows he's not big enough to really do much to Bandages.
Yeah.
So he would break the stone and Bandages would fall.
And then, like, I don't know, maybe Baba would shut the toilet off or something to stop one of them.
Oh.
Oh.
No, because she has a fighter that has wings.
Hmm.
So the Devil's Toilet would still be good even if her side of the arena is slightly broken.
Yeah.
So the Devil Man would come out,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be hard for the Devil Might Beam to affect Tenchi here.
Yeah. It wouldn't affect as much, but it would still be affecting him.
It would affect him. He would swell up, but he wouldn't explode as much as the Devil Man wants him to.
It's like he's like,
Because
why are
it would take a while, but like it would take a while, and Tenchi's suffering through the whole thing. But eventually, the Devil Man would realize, oh, I see. You have more pure souls keeping your body from exploding. How cheaty of you, young man. Well, I suppose you could give up. And then he would pull out his pitchfork. Before I pop you, you know?
Yeah.
Like the balloon you are, you know?
Muta Ito comes out. Actually, that'd be fun if, like, we actually get to see, like, not Muta Ito, but the previous incarnation.
Upa's grandfather.
Great-grandfather, yeah.
Yeah, Upa's great-grandfather.
And, like, Upa, because he's there and they're, like, watching, it's like, what?
He'd be like, great-grandfather?
Does Upa, like... I know that, like, he wasn't actually... Upa was born in H741 as well, or just before that or after.
Well, Upa was a younger kid than Goku.
Well, actually, I can try and find, like, get his, birth
Yeah,
date.
I can't find his actual age, but I'm pretty sure he is a lot younger than Goku.
Yeah,
Pretty
just,
sure.
just getting Upa up, da.
Either way, if you're gonna suggest that Upa shows up during a tournament, I don't think it would be the 22nd. I think it would be.
I'm not thinking that. I'm just saying. Yeah, birthday age 745. So he never met his great grandfather, but like he just sort of know.
Maybe even Tenchi in that state would have said something like, "You've grown into a respectable young man, Upa. I wish I could have met you
When I was still alive."
when I was still alive." Yeah, like that would be something like that.
You meet his great grandfather.
He would stand up and say, "Your fight is not with me. Your fight is with Baba, who controls you, Devil Man. Now kindly remove the negativity from this body, and I will gladly surrender the challenge to you." You're kidding. You.
Like, and it's basically like he's still Tenchi, but it has the voice of the
Yeah. Well, it's kind of reverberated, so you have Tenchi's voice and this person's voice talking in unison.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they would both be doing that, and the Devil Man would pull his pitchfork back, and Tenchi would bow and look at Baba, saying, "You understand who I am, old woman. I give up. The contest is your Devil Man's." And of course she'd be like, "Through all my years, I never expected to see another warrior again. How sad is it that you are here? Fine, ruin my fun. I would have liked to see the little twerp."
Though, yeah, I do have to mention that there isn't a spirit of him in the other world, though.
Yeah, but she would know. She's got that crystal ball. She would know who Tenchi is.
Yeah.
This wouldn't be a surprise to her, and she'd be like, "All right, fine. You were an honorable warrior while you were not part of a child. He would smile. He would smile and be appreciative of it, like, thank you. And it's good to see you too, you insufferable old hag. You know, like, it would be something like.
God, it's coming out like, of a child's body as well.
Yeah, and Tenchi would kind of fall on his butt, like, whatever just happened. I'm exhausted from that. And then a stick would just rush past his head and stick to the wall on the other side. And Goku would use his power pole. He's like, "Hey Tenchi, climb across."
Yeah. Yeah, you would do
Yeah.
that, yeah.
My turn now, anyway.
And then Goku would defeat Devilman because he's literally
Yeah,
pure
there's
of
no
heart.
evil in his soul. He's not got impure thoughts.
Yeah.
So he would beat the Devil Man, who would effectively give up because this child is a hell of a lot better than Tenchi, and we would still get Grandpa Gohan versus
Yeah.
Goku.
Exactly. Like normal.
And at the end of it, we would still get, Goku would find out where the Lion's Dragon Ball is. He does his thing with Upa, but Tenchi would be behind, and Roshi would immediately know something's wrong. And that's when, because he trusts Roshi, he spills the beans. Okay, like, he can't hide it anymore, and he's gonna feel bad about it. But Roshi, I've been training with the Crane Hermit. And of course, that's when Roshi reveals, like, yeah, I know. Believe it or not, me and Jackie Chun still talk to one another. Yeah, like.
Oh, it's because Jackie Chun. Because Jackie Chun and Roshi, yeah.
He would know. So he'd be like, "Oh, I know. Jackie Chun and I had a nice long conversation after your bout with him. So, who will you be representing during the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament?" And of course he says, "Well, I still feel like I should represent Crane School, but I won't be against you guys like that."
Yeah, and he probably does explain like about Tien and Chaozu that they're really they have a lot of potential, but they're just in this situation where they
Yeah, they're in a situation where they are bad.
Yeah.
They are bad, and he would say, "Really, what else can you tell us about them?" And of course, he would explain the training regimens and all that. He would, and the best part about this is where the timeline kind of shifts.
Yeah.
Is Krillin is there and Yamcha is there, and they still have several months before that tournament starts.
Well, 3 years actually.
Well, that's why I said several months, because I wasn't sure where this landed in the timeline. But yeah, they have several years before the 22nd World Tournament starts. Meaning, they're hearing about Tien and Chaozu early.
Yeah,
So
learning.
they're going to train harder.
So he explains about the Tri-Beam, about the Dodonpo.
The Dodonpa. Before the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament happens, Yamcha and Krillin, not only do they have a bigger power level, but both of them know the Kamehameha. They have to know the Kamehameha.
Yeah. And maybe they learn another one of Roshi's techniques, the Thundershock Surprise.
I would say it's a mix. Okay, so because Yamcha's more physical, because he has the Wolfbang Fist,
Yeah.
he knows how to handle a scimitar, he would know the Thundershock Surprise. He would have to have something in his back pocket.
Yeah.
Krillin, however, is not as physical. He's way more technique based. So Krillin would know the buff up technique.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that he could kind of be in a better spot if he has to go against Tien.
Yeah, it's funny how they never learn that in the original.
Right. So I would think, because Roshi is
I kind of feel like Yamcha would learn the buff up technique.
We see Yamcha would consider it, but he would understand that would sacrifice speed.
Yes, it's like Super Saiyan Grade 3.
Yeah, that's why the Thundershock Surprise would be a good thing for you in his back pocket.
Yeah.
That nobody would get. And keep in mind, he was a bandit before all this.
Yeah.
Him having a secret tool behind his back would be beneficial.
Yeah.
So that's why I say Krillin would have the buff up technique. It would be hilarious, little Krillin buffing up. But it would still prove useful because Krillin, not only does he have, his dome being a hell of an iron defense as well as an offense, but it would also buff up his body against certain techniques, like if he were to receive a Dodon Ray, buff up technique would increase that sort of defense, and he might be able to
Yeah.
survive it.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
That's how he would be using it. He wouldn't be using it as a straight up strength upgrade. He would be using it as, okay, I'm taking a lot of hits, let's be a little bit more dense. You know?
Yeah.
Well, see, at this point, right, because he's confiding in Roshi, like at the end of the Baba tournament, he's confiding in Roshi and Yamcha and Krillin.
Yeah.
He is outright laying his feelings bare. He's not hiding himself. He's growing as a character. I think now the Nimbus would let him ride.
Oh, that's cool.
Because he's being outright honest with Roshi. He's not hiding it. Yeah, he hasn't said anything to Shen yet, but he hasn't been able to say anything to Shen yet.
But like obviously Goku goes off to get the last Dragon Ball, but then he comes back. They do wish Upa Bora back at the tower.
Yeah, I'm saying like okay, so they wish Bora back. Then Goku heads back to Baba's, right? So that's when Goku has to go back, like without Upa, because Upa got dropped off with Bora.
Yeah.
And so after he gets back.
Okay, so he gets the last Dragon Ball, and then he gets his father back. Here's the thing as well. Tenchi needs to get a Nimbus ride back. Now, I mean, I know he can fly at this point. I feel like his flight, he can't just go all the way across the planet flying. I don't think he has enough ki to do that.
Yeah, and so then the Nimbus, like instead Goku passes the Nimbus off to Tenchi. And I think here's where we can kind of let off for this bout, right?
Yeah.
So he's trained under Shen and Roshi, and he's between a rock and a hard place, right?
Yeah.
So I would think for the 22nd, he doesn't represent Roshi or Shen. Instead, he asked Goku, hey, so how did you get so strong? And of course Goku would explain about Korin. Hey, how did you get so strong to fight the Devil Man? I wanted to bring that up, but Upa seemed a bit stressed, and I mean, he was happy that we got to wish Bora, but it's clearly other things were on his mind. I didn't want to distract him. That's when Goku tells him all about Korin's training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, after Goku goes off by himself, Goku realizes that Tenchi didn't have to hang on as far as the cloud. He already told all about the Crane School to everybody else.
Yeah.
So Goku gives him the cloud, and of course he's like, yeah, thank you, Master Roshi, for hearing me out. I'll see you guys at the tournament, okay?
Yeah.
And he'll fly off on the Nimbus, and on his way to Shen, he tells the Nimbus to stop because he would feel guilty about, representing the Crane School because he cares about the Turtle School. He would feel guilty about representing the Turtle School because he cares about the Crane School.
And he kind of more cares about Tien and Chiaotzu as well.
Right. So he can't really decide either way because he'll be going against his friends either way.
Yeah.
So he chooses the middle road and says, take me to the mystical land of Korin.
Yeah.
And he would even see Korin's tower, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where he would climb Korin's tower.
I mean, he would have to tell his parents, maybe he has a phone or something.
Yeah, he'd have capsules. He'd have a cell phone, you know.
He'd be like, I'm gonna probably be I'm gonna be a few days.
A few days late. I'm sorry, but I really gotta do this.
I can do double the chores when I get back. If that's.
Yeah, he would tell his dad, and he'd be like, "Don't worry, son. I'll handle your mother."
Yeah.
You do what you need to do because this sounds extremely important, and I know you're a very gifted child. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Just don't forget about us, and we'll see you at the 22nd. We promise.
Yeah. So he would end up training. How many days do you think he would take to get to the...
Well, he's clearly not as strong as Goku.
Yeah.
But I think Korin would notice who he is through all that.
Yeah.
So I would say Goku took 3 days. I would say him a week.
A week. Yeah. 7 days. Yeah. Nice.
Yep. So, but like in the middle of those 7 days, like he would tease him because Korin knows who he is.
Yeah.
He's knowledgeable about that.
Yeah.
He would understand. Oh, there's multiple signatures in you. Like,
Yeah.
I know who you are. I know who you are. One of you came up here and trained for 3 years. Well, as a student that trained for 3 years, you know, like you would know Roshi was a student of Taito. There he is. There's Mutaito. You know.
It's like Tenchi's like I'm confused by that, but whatever.
I'm confused about what you mean. Oh, don't worry about it, Mutaito. And of course, at first Tenchi would be like, "Oh, okay, Korin." Wait, what?
My name's Tenchi.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. You're not making any sense.
Actually, I do have a name for Upa's great grandfather.
I'm sure we'll think about it.
Hold on, no, actually, I do have the name. I can pop it up.
I'm sure we'll introduce all, because I would want to introduce all of them. You know, because he's spending a week on Korin's tower. I'm sure he's gonna dream about these people.
Yeah, so I can't just spill the beans at who they are. If you
Go
the
for it.
names. So first was Mutaito, and then Battle or Badal. No, how the vowels are gonna be pronounced.
Batel.
But how maybe. But yeah, she's the Nam part of the Nam, like an ancestor of the Nam
Okay.
people.
So yeah,
Well,
Batel would probably be good.
You know. And then Suri was the Triclops. And then Oba was the great grandfather of Uba.
Okay, okay. So, on the way into, I guess I could say this with the Dragon Ball announcer voice. Also, rest in peace. My God,
Everyone's dying.
dying. They're going to Underworld. So while the Crane School and Turtle Schools are training as hard as they can for the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament, Tenchi is very much the same way, trying to get the Ultra Divine Water from Korin. What will happen when our heroes meet at the 22nd? Will the Crane School or the Turtle School come out on top? Find out next time on Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball. Just do Dragon Ball.
Yeah. And with that, I'd say until next time. See you, everyone.